Let us now finally add our power bar. First, we are going to go into our sprites and open our platform sprite sheet. And this one right here, the transparent one, I'm going to name UI power back. And this one is going to be UI power front. And simply hit apply to apply changes to their names. Now we are going to create a slider. So here I'm going to go and create, a slider, I think. Yeah, we are going to create a slider. So he's going to be the child of the second canvas, and I'm going to name it power bar. And we are going to reposition it somewhere around here, and also we are going to resize our, power bar. So something like this. And at the x-axis he's going to be at the 0, and we can set his anchor at the bottom middle, so something like this. And here we can position it, so here. And now for the handle slide area, we are going to disable it because we don't need it. We are going to take the fill area, or the background also, and I'm going to change the background here to power UI back. And here for our fill area, for the fill, I'm going to set it to power UI front. So like this. And I'm also going to take our power fill area, so here, and I'm going to, resize it a little bit. So something like this. And now we see how our power bar looks like. We can also take, let me just find it for the background, and we can also resize that one, so like this. But anyway, you can do however you like and however you feel is good for your game. And practically this is going to be our power bar. Here we are going to set, for the value, we are not going to set the whole number. So we don't need whole numbers, so this is going to be unchecked. Instead, we are going to use, decimal numbers, because that's the better way to represent this, visually. And practically we are done. But what we need to do is we need to go here in our scripts folder and open our player jump script. And here is where we are going to actually program our power bar. Now we need a couple of variables. So the first thing we need is a slider. And for that, we need to type here using Unity Engine .ui, because it's a UI element, and in order to use it, we need to import Unity Engine.ui. This is going to be our power bar. We also need a private float, which is going to be our power bar threshold, which is equal to 10. And we also need a private float, which is going to be power bar value, which at the moment is going to be equal to 0. Here in the initialize function, I'm going to use our power bar is equal to GameObject.find, and here we are going to find our power bar in the scene, get component, and I'm going to get the slider from it. And here we are going to set the slider. So power bar dot min value is equal to 0, power bar dot max value is equal to 10, and power bar dot value is equal to our power bar value. So this is going to set the minimum value for the power bar. This is going to set the maximum value above which value we cannot go. And this is going to set the current value of the powered bar. So at the moment, it's going to be equal to 0. Now here where we are setting the power, what we are going to do is we are going to say our power bar value is equal to our power bar threshold multiplied by time dot delta time, the same thing as what we are doing with our, threshold for the x and for the y. And we are going to say our power bar dot value is equal to our power bar value, practically just setting it here. So here we are simply using time dot delta time to multiply the threshold. That's going to be our power bar value. And here we are setting the value for our power bar. And now when we jump here, what we are going to do is we are going to say our power bar value is equal to 0 because we want to reset it, and our power bar dot value is equal to our power bar dot, value actually. And also while we are at it, we are setting did jump to be equal to true. We are going to set the animator for our player. So here we're going to say set bool. And why we are using set bool? Well, if you remember, if we go back here and for our player, so let me just find the player. So he's here in the prefabs folder, select the player, and in the animator. This is a Boolean parameter jump, which when we want to go from idle to jump is going to be equal to true, and when we go from jump to idle, it's going to be equal to false. So we are going to set the bool parameter jump, so jump, to going to be equal to did jump. So we are simply passing our did jump, which is here equal to true, and I'm going to copy this line of code, and here I'm going to also set it to be equal to did jump because now it's equal to false. So again, if I go back here, this is our Boolean parameter. So we have our did jump, or excuse me, jump parameter, and we are going to transition from idle to jump when jump is equal to true, which is, well, the case right here. So jump or did jump is equal to true. We are setting it to be equal to, well, true here. And, well, we are using our jump parameter. So here we are going to go from idle to jump animation. When we land, well, on a trigger, or when we touch a trigger, any, well, of the triggers, and it's going to be our platform. And when we land on the platform, we are going to set that same parameter to be equal to false to go back from, well, jump animation back to the idle animation. And here for the power bar, when we jump, we need to reset its value at 0 again in order to display that power again when we want to jump next time. Now we can go and test this out. So when I run the game, when we hold our button, we are going to see our power bar, and we are not seeing it. And here we have a null reference. So let me just check that. Oh, here, power find, power bar. It's supposed to be power bar, not power find. And now when I run the game, and we see that our slider, it needs to be in front of these. So what we need to do is we need to, well, take this canvas, which is the canvas that holds the power bar. And here for the sorting layer, I'm going to add a new sorting layer. And here I'm going to, well, name it power bar. So simply name it power bar. And now use the canvas. And now we are going to set it to be here at this sorting layer. So what's this going to do? And it's going to bring our power bar in front of, well, our platforms, because here we have sorting layers. This determines the order by which our game objects are displayed, well, on the, well, display here or in the game view. And if I set it to default, notice now at our power bar is going to go back or behind our platforms, because, well, it's at the same layer. If we set it to be at one layer in front, then it's going to be rendered in front. And now if I, well, hold here, we see that our power bar is filling. And what we need to do is also, let me just take our power bar, and here we need to set the value. So let me just go back in our script and see what we are doing wrong. I need to take a look at here where I'm setting the value. So this is what I did wrong. So we need to say plus equals. Our power bar value is plus equals to power bar threshold multiplied by time.delta time. Not equals, so plus equals. And now we can go back and finally we can test the whole game out. So now we see that our power bar is filling when we are jumping, and we see that we have our platforms, and we can play our game. So we have our playable game. Excuse me for these small errors. And now I can go in my main menu. I will save this here, and we can play the whole game from scratch. So click here, play, go here. We see that our power bar is filling. We can restart the game again. We can, well, play it again, go here, and again we have died. Restart the game and play it. Of course, you can play with these values for the power bar, for your power on the player, for his velocity, for the force X and force Y, so on and so forth. So we can go back, play again. So let me just fill the power, and again we are, well, dead. So again here and here we are jumping, and we see that our animation is working actually. And we have jumping, and we have 3 score, but we have died. So again, jumping, we are dead. Anyway, we have the fully functional game now. As I said, you can tweak the settings, tweak, well, the force X, force Y, tweak the power bar. You can also add your own artwork for the power bar, so on and so forth. but practically we are done with our game, and this is how can we create our Jump Hero game.